Alright, Shalom. All praises to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Sham, Rakal, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the sincere Akim, keeping the garments and laboring in true sincerity. My name is Lamad. The brother with me that I pushed with is his name is Amatazah.
Shalom.
And we're the End is Near 2 camp in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And today, we got a little short and to the point video basically entitled The Plagues of Modern Day Egypt. We're just going to go through some scriptures and just break some things down that, our people, which are the 12 tribes of the nation Israel, need to know in order to, come into the true understanding of the scriptures. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. I'm going to just bring up some articles real quick. And just a point, we were just kind of after work or whatever, we were just thinking about some stuff. And I'm going to just go through this real quick. This is just a picture and it's an image, right? And it talks about the plagues of Egypt, which the plagues of Egypt were, one, the blood, the water turned to blood, the frogs, the lice, the flies, the cattle disease, the boils, the hail and fire, the locusts, the darkness, and the death. And just how you had plagues in ancient Egypt, but as the scriptures say in Revelation, what's that? Revelation 11 and 8. Yeah, about how basically it's saying Sodom in Egypt, right? Or the land which is spiritually Sodom in Egypt, which is talking about America. And basically America is nothing more than a modern day Egypt.
Yep.
And all these plagues that are going on and taking place in America, which we're gonna try and basically just get into the economic collapse aspect of the plagues. All right, so I'm gonna just read an article real quick. Just a matter of fact. So I'm sorry. Let me read. Let's just go through the scriptures and then we're gonna read the articles. Yeah. All right. So let me go to the scriptures real quick. All right. So this is plagues of modern day Egypt. So this is Zephaniah 1 and 11. It says, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh." And Maktesh was a prosperous, marketplace of back in the biblical times. It says, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." And Maktesh is America is the stock market and all that. You could look at that as a modern day like Maktesh. And at one time America and all that, they were prospering, but they're on a steady decline, circling the drain. And so that's pretty much what we're gonna get into. And basically the two articles, one is talking about the debt, which we're gonna show, because we always like to basically give other accounts, so it's not like we're just saying it out of our own mouth. You have evidence and a paper trail. Like the brother says, the case has to be made. So this, usually we like to use, Esau, which is the Edomites, the so-called white man. He like the scriptures say, his tongue is gonna fall upon himself.
That's right.
So this is Ecclesiastes 12, chapter 12, verse 1 through 5. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." And basically, we tell our people to basically come back to the Most High, because, right now, we don't see all hell breaking loose. It's not martial law like it's gonna be. It's not like right now, right, in Philadelphia. You go to certain sections of Philadelphia and you see like tented people just living in tents under bridges and all this stuff. And if you go to like Kensington, I'm sure there's other places that's real bad, but that's a place that I see. You know what I mean? And some people just marvel at it. Like, I'll be driving down the street and the car in front of me, it's like, they'll slow down just to be like almost probably like in awe and shock, like, people really are like living like this and stuff. But it's actually places in the United States, outside of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, that are like the same, probably like worse. You know what I'm saying? I heard places in California is just like a block. You know what I'm saying? Where people just sleeping in tents and, you know what I mean? They might have went to college, they might have did all that stuff, but it is what it is.
So you can only imagine just how worse it's gonna get now when you're talking about the average citizen and the average Joe, especially when it starts reaching up to the so-called first class. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot of that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Prevalent in this wicked setup. It's gonna be a lot of poverty. It's gonna be a lot of death. All right, judgment is coming.
So this is verse 2 of Ecclesiastes 12:2. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened. And it's talking about the keepers of the house, like the people, the people that are basically in charge, the international bankers, you know what I'm saying? Because just like we always say, they're not, the Most High gives them authority, you know what I'm saying? Esau is not, he's not in a position because he's just all powerful, he's God or nothing like that.
Right.
It's because the Most High gave him dominion for this period of time. So it says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. And the grinders are talking about, the people that, the work and all that stuff, because like one thing in America is like the job situation and all that. It's just really, like when, just say like you got a business or whatever, when money gets tight, they start trying to cut people and stuff. And that's the same thing that's going on in this country on a much larger scale. You know what I mean? Just say like, you know what I'm saying? I used to work at Walmart or whatever. When they might hire people, say like around Christmas and all that, they'll hire temps, they'll hire a bunch of people because they got to get their merchandise ready to sell or whatever. Yep. But then after Christmas is over, they just start cutting people, you know what I mean? All them temp people, they're gone. All those, they might even cut people that were, full-time people or whatever, just so they could, save money and won't have to get them benefits or whatever. But it's the same thing on a much larger scale. It's the same thing on a much larger scale. So anyway, this is verse 4. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up. Alright, so this is verse 5, it says, also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. You know what I mean? So, people want America and the economy to basically come back and rebound and all that, but that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Their desires are going to fail. This is Habakkuk 2:6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laden in himself with thick clay. And that thick clay is talking about the debt that America's in, which we're going to bring up an article real quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to start off with that one. An article about the national debt. All right, so U.S. national debt at 21 trillion. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find something pertinent information real quick. I didn't get a chance to really highlight it like I wanted to and stuff. But all right, so it says, you might know the numbers. The national debt now stands at 21.4 trillion, and debt held by the public, that is the debt owed to those outside the federal government, 15.7 trillion. And this is dated Saturday, August 25th. So it's, it's went up. It's went up since then. But this is, that it is what it is. You know, that's why it says, and you know, the thing is that this debt that America has, this is like the most debt in any country in the history of the world. You know what I mean? So it's not just something that's normal or something like that. This is something that's irregular. That's why we know that the scripture is basically talking about America.
Right.
We got another article. This is entitled "The End Really Is Near," a play-by-play of the coming economic collapse. And let me see if I can get to the point. Just bear with me for a second. All right, this part right here. So it's entitled "What Government Shouldn't Be Doing," and it says, "When I wrote my book predicting the 2008 financial crisis, I also wrote that the government would react to that crisis by doing the wrong thing, that they would cut rates and print a lot of money, and I thought that they were going to try and reflate the bubble in housing and the stock market. I did not believe that they would succeed. I thought their attempts to reflate the bubble would fail because I thought a dollar crisis would prevent it. But that never happened. A lot of things happened to keep the dollar going up. And so instead of just attempting to reflate the bubble, they actually succeeded. They actually were able to blow an even bigger bubble than the one that popped in 2008. Now the economy is more screwed up than ever before, so the correction is going to be much worse. And this time, there's just no way that they can try to reflate the bubble. It's going to be impossible. The dollar will just be completely destroyed if the Fed goes for the QE4, a 4-round quantitative easing. If they take rates down to zero again, then launch QE4, that's it. Now, I don't think that that's what they're going to do, so it's going to be a real mess, so we could do a lot of damage. It's very ironic hearing we're going to punish China, we're going to get China laugh. You talk about biting the hand that feeds you. The trade deficits are a huge problem. I've been warning about it for years, but they're really the consequences of the problem. The problem is that our economy is producing these trade deficits. The problem is that we're accumulating massive debt to our trading partners, but the reality is we can't pay our trading partners back, so they're the suckers because we're just going to default or inflate and give them worthless money. But when we give them worthless money, that means that that our money is worthless too. If the dollar crashes and you have hyperinflation, the U.S. will suffer far more than our creditors who end up getting screwed on what they loaned us. So that's basically, Esau basically breaking down the fact that, America, it's by decline, it's by, like we say, it's by design, everything that's going to happen. But, the dollar is going to be pretty much worthless. And this is what is gonna, Lord's will, which through the prophecies, this is what's gonna create the scenario where China and its allies are gonna be against America. It's a bunch of other reasons why, but this is just one aspect of it. You know what I mean? 'Cause you know how people get when somebody owes them money.
Yep.
So, I guess, with that, I want to hope this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to all the sincere Akim.
Shalom.